That time again. How's everybody this Sunday morning? It's 64 degrees, 6:16 in the morning here, Well, let's see what we're going to do today. Well, gotta go to work again. Good morning, good morning. Let's see, we got one person in here. Ah, they left. I guess they got scared. Ah, anybody here today? How's it going? Good morning. Sunday morning, 6:18 in the morning, 64 degrees. No wind today, nice and calm. Looks like a beautiful day, but it's gonna be hot. It's probably gonna be in the 90s. Last couple of days it's been in the 90s. And summer's not even here yet. Yep. So everybody, don't forget to hit the like button, everybody. Well, I'm gonna do a couple of shout outs to some of these channels. Go and follow them. Good morning. Who's here? She stole my thunder. Hey, how's it going? Good morning. Well, how's it going this morning? Or afternoon or evening, everybody? It looks like a nice day. It's gonna be a little hot today, probably gonna be in the 90s this Sunday morning. 63 degrees already right now. How's everybody doing? Well, I'm all ready now. My AC is working fine. Good morning, whoever is here. I'll be reading the comments later. Welcome. Well, everybody, go check out some channels out there. James Gype. Go check out AAP, Like Father, Like Son. Go check out Real Fishing. Go check out Spider Mom. Go check out Mark the Spider Guy. Go check out Iron Dog. Go check out My Animal House. Kirkwood. Go check out Sherry Matcat. She's trying to reach 300. She's gonna be giving a giveaway at 300. You can see her on my list of family and friends. Go check out the list of family and friends. You got Keys Constrictors there also. We've got a lot of good channels there. Morning. Birds are flying. It's a nice morning today. So, anybody doing anything exciting this morning? Hello, everybody in the chat. Make sure you say hello to everybody else in the chat. Go check out their channels. We got the sun. It's creeping up. You can see it. It wants to hit me in the eye with that bright light. Like the movie Gremlins, you know. Bright light, bright light. How is everybody doing this morning? Well, yeah, so I got the AC. That's done. Now I gotta pay back my son, you know. He let me borrow it, so that way I don't have to pay no interest on them. So I owe him some money. Yeah, it's a nice morning this morning. Not a lot of traffic yet. Typical Sunday. But I'll probably hit some traffic a little bit later. Going to work. And then remember, we got this little part up ahead coming up. The darn internet. I don't know what the deal is right there, but there's bad internet. Bad internet connection up ahead. They should put a sign. You know how they got the sign saying, you know, wind up ahead. Or reindeer crossing. You know, the funny thing is, you know, you see those signs that says reindeer crossing. I've never seen any reindeers every time I've passed through there. And then what? Do you know, are those signs for us or for the reindeers? Can the reindeers read the signs? They're like, oh no, honey, come on, kids, it's over here. The reindeer crossing is over here on this side, not over there. Over there, see, that's where you're gonna get hit by a car. Over here, people aren't gonna hit us. Yeah. I mean, but I've heard people, you know, those things are dangerous, you know, especially those big ones with the horns, the males. I mean, man, could you imagine you're hitting one of those things and it goes through your windshield? You're dead, man. Them things will poke you, kill you. I mean, I think we're more in danger than they are. You know, you might, you know, knock their legs out a little bit, you know, depending how hard you hit them. It's going to come through the windshield. You're going to be shish kebab by those things. But yeah, you know, I always wondered, you know, those signs, you know, reindeer crossing, you know, probably up there by Canada, they got signs saying moose crossing. Yeah, here we probably need some signs that says skunk crossing, because you know, usually you hit a lot of skunks in the area, and then it's by there, and then oof, you get that nice smell coming out of your air conditioning, you know, you're like, oh man. One time I was driving, it was the company vehicle, you know, and there was a skunk, and I didn't see it. It was already dead, because even when they're dead, they still smell. I mean, you go over that skunk that's dead, and man, that thing is gonna smell your car for a long time. It was funny because you know, it was at nighttime, and I guess I hit it, so it got all over the underneath of the truck, the company truck that I was using, and you know, wiped out the back tire and everything, and then you know, my shift was already ending, so then I go back, and then the other guard comes in. He's gonna take over, and he's all like, "Oh my God, what the hell's that smell?" You know. what the hell did you hit? And I go, I think there was a skunk on the road. Hit that thing, and poof, you know. Oh, I remember one time I was living in the San Diego area, and where I lived, it was real close. It was real close to the mountains there. I mean, I was like maybe 2 blocks away from the mountains, and you get a lot of wild animals in the area. You get rabbits, you get possums, you get raccoons, and skunks. One morning, I was this when I was working at the post office. I get up. It's at nighttime, because I used to work nights. So I get up. And go outside. All of a sudden, right when I'm going around the corner, there's a skunk there, and it's like yee, like makes a noise. Like, oh shit. Luckily, it was facing me. Because the dangerous part is the back end on them things. And I was like, hey, I stayed up. I'm like, no, everything's fine here. No, nothing to see. So I just let it go. I went around it. I went out to the grass. Because it was on the sidewalk. And I'm like, no, I don't want to get hit by that thing now. I'll never get that smell out of me going to work. So I was like, I went to around it, in the grass. Went to work. Another time I went outside and there was a family of raccoons. It was the mother, the father, and then I think he had 2 or 3 little kids with them. The little baby raccoons. They're so cute, and they're smart, and then if you look at their hands, in Spanish they call them mapaches, the raccoons, mapaches, but I think it's probably a word that the Indians probably, put on. It sounds kind of, that way. They should call them, bank robbers, I guess. Because they're little thieves. They go and steal, go into places and steal stuff. I mean, they have these. Their hands are almost like human. They can open anything. They can get into anything. And so they're pretty smart. So and then their face, they got. It looks like they have like the Long Ranger, the Long Ranger with the mask. It looks like they have a little mask on, but it's pretty neat the way it looks. Yeah, and then other times there was ducks out there that would fly in and just because they would water the grass, so they would just land on the grass there, relax, take a break, and they wouldn't go anywhere for a while. I would see them out there, and then one time when I went to work at the post office, they had to call animal control because there was a I guess they call them cougars or pumas. Yeah, it was in the parking lot, and he was on top of one of the vehicles. It was just laying on the hood, relaxing, getting some warm from the hood, probably from the car, so it was there relaxing. Animal control had came and took it away. I mean, because we're building homes in San Diego, pretty much everywhere you see a house in all the hills, all the mountains there. I mean, there's nowhere where the animals can, we're building on their land pretty much, and then they wonder why they're coming into your backyard, and stuff. But you know, I mean, pretty soon there's not going to be any wildlife. You know, we're killing all the wildlife, destroying the planet. You know, cutting trees. You know, and then we forget that trees are what gives oxygen to the world here. You know, plants they're giving us oxygen. You know, and they basically breathe in the what we exhale. You know, the carbon monoxide. Well, not carbon monoxide. I forget the real. We don't want to get technical here, and then hey, he said the wrong thing. But it's, you know, our oxygen waste, you know, feeds the plants, you know. So I guess if we would breathe on our plant, you know, I think, that I always wondered about that, you know, because they say, you know, people that talk to their plants, you know, they say, oh, you know, if you talk to plants, your plants grow. Well, you know, in fact, that is true, because you're breathing on them. You're over there talking to your plant, and you're breathing on it, and that's what makes it grow. You know, but people, you know, they're thinking, oh, you know, he's talking to his plant, and it's, you know, talk to your plants and make them grow, you know. But, you know, people that they don't talk to their plant, you know, it's just like there, you know, it's dying, you know. But then also, you know, we overwater. I remember one time I went to the store, you know, and they had these little, miniature. They got those miniature roses. They're like in a little plant, a little potted plant. And I saw it, and it was so cute, you know, because, you know, my wife, she loves flowers. But then she's all like, you know, you gave me flowers, you know, they're beautiful for only so long, and then they die, you know, they pretty much die. So then, you know, I said, hey, you know, that's a pretty good idea, you know, it's a little miniature indoor plant. So I gave it to my wife, you know, and she put it in the kitchen, you know, right there in front of the sink, you know, the kitchen sink, you know, and it was nice little roses, you know, there was, you know, red roses, but miniature, you know, and they were, you know, they opened up, and then more would, you know, then they would die, and more would come out. But then, you know, my wife, like she says, she goes, I can't keep any plants alive. Well, yeah, because she overwaters them. Because every day she would, you know, squirt water from the sink, you know. And I'm like, you know, and so she pretty much overwatered it, and you know, overwatering is not good, you know, because I mean, a plant, the roots, you know, they need to grow, you know, they have to search for water. That's how they grow, like trees. You know, they say, you know, trees that, you know, like say you have grass in your yard, and you have a tree in the middle. Those trees end up being very weak because their roots, they don't stretch out. There's some trees. Those are called eucalyptus trees. Eucalyptus trees are very good also if you have asthma. My mother-in-law, because my older son, he had asthma, she would make like a tea. You know, she would get the leaves from the eucalyptus tree, pull off the leaves from it, and you know, it was a remedy. You know, and then you would add honey to it also afterwards. But you'd wash the leaves, of course, unless you know where the tree was, where they didn't spray any poison on it. But you would wash them real good, and so she would boil them in water, you know, and then he would drink it, and it would help his immune system, you know, with the asthma. In fact, in Mexico, they sell a cough medicine, you know, and it's for asthma, it says, and it has eucalyptus in it. But those trees, they also have another name for them. A lot of them say they call them widow makers. because they fall over. The wind pushes them over, and the whole tree falls and lands on somebody, kills them, or on the highway. Because on the highway, on the freeways over there in San Diego area, there's a lot of those trees. But then there's a lot where they got to plant, where they plant them, they plant a lot of vegetation, and they have a sprinkler system, so it's constantly getting water. So this tree, it's getting water, so it doesn't need to stretch out, to the roots. A tree, if it doesn't get water, it starts stretching out its roots in search for water. So then it grows stronger and stronger. That's why palm trees. How palm trees, you see how tall they are and how strong they are. In Florida, even here in California, there's palm trees, and these big winds. I mean, there was these palm trees where I used to live, and they were like so tall and thin. They were like, I mean, I'm 60. I mean, they were there. I think even before I was born, because I mean, I used to see them, and I mean, the tops had already fallen off, but the trunk was all there, and it didn't. It would, it's all bent a little bit, but now it doesn't get knocked over. And they're like the palm trees, even if they dry up, they're pretty strong, because a palm tree, it's like just like a strings in there. Like, I don't know if you ever cut a palm tree down, but it has like on the inside it's like what's another plant that's like real stringy? I forget. There's another plant that's kind of like that. That's it's like it has a lot of stringy stuff in it. Right? Almost like the inside of a pumpkin. When you open up a pumpkin, how it has all that stuff inside with the seeds. I mean, but through the whole palm tree, that's the way it is. So these eucalyptus trees that are over there in San Diego, since they water them, they don't have to stretch out. So what happens is a wind, they grow real tall, and then their leaves get real heavy. So what happens is they can't. They're top heavy. So what happens? They just fall over, because the roots they're not stretched out. So if you plant a tree in the middle of the grass, that's why these trees, they end up falling over. When a big wind comes, the wind just knocks it over, because you're watering the grass every day, try to getting it, green. But then that little tree that's in the middle of the grass, it doesn't even have to go very far, and it gets water. So you're not helping it by planting it in the middle. You're better off planting it somewhere where it's not getting a lot of water. Unless it's a tree that needs a lot of water. Like my mother-in-law, she planted mangoes. And it's in a desert. It gets 120 degrees out here. That's in the summertime. And in the wintertime, it gets as low as 28 degrees, even, depending. We haven't had that cold of a winter, but still gets in the 30s, pretty much every year. And, one time we had a frost, and she was like, oh man, my mango tree's gonna die. But, she got lucky, it survived, because it was already real tall. I mean, this mango tree is huge. I have videos of it in my, these are some of the first videos that I have. She has a mango tree that she has at her home, and she pretty much, she could plant anything and it would grow. I mean, she planted this mango tree from one seed, that she made from a mango. And it's so funny, because her brother, was even telling her, you're crazy, that thing ain't gonna grow. Some people, if that, I'll do this. Well, he goes, if that mango tree, ever grows or whatever. He goes, I'll put a mango up my butt. He goes, and she's all like, yeah, right. And he never did. But look, the dang tree grew. It's huge. You know, the only sad part is that mango tree. I doubt it, unless whoever buys the house, because my mother-in-law passed away recent. Like about a year ago. She died of old age, pretty much. Well, not old age. I mean, she died. She had cancer. So she got cancer and she died. She was in her 70s. But yeah, so now that her house, they're gonna sell it. We'll see who buys it. Whoever buys it hopefully likes plants, because there's some people, they don't like plants. They don't like grass. I mean, she had her grass was always so green. People would come by and go like, "Oh my God!" And this is in the summertime. You're talking summertime. I mean, her water bill was always high, and she didn't care. She's all like, her grass and her yard was her pride and joy. All her plants. She would go out there and water them. I remember when she got sick, and then she had to stay at my sister-in-law's house because she got her knees. She got knee replacements, both of her knees, and then she was getting sick. I guess personally, not too long ago. When she was, the cancer started getting her. But she was like, I want to go home. She, because she was sad that her plants are gonna die. She was like, oh, my plants. She was always watering them, forgetting to turn the water off. The neighbors come knocking. Hey, you're flooding your yard. You're flooding my yard. And then the neighbor, because she had cats there, baby cats all over the yard, and they weren't even her cats. She never had any cats, but the neighbor, he would feed them in her yard, throwing food on her in her side, so the cats would be over there, and it's like, and I tell her, well, tell your neighbor don't be throwing food in my yard, but she enjoyed the cats too, they would come, every morning, I guess, and start meow, and then she's all like, I can't get rid of these cats. I go, well, stop, don't feed them. That's the thing about a cat. A wild cat, you feed it, never gonna get rid of it. I mean, that cat's gonna, it'll stay there forever. It's that way. That's the thing about cats, man. They'll go to some house. Where I live, there's a bunch of cats. They keep, they're good to keep the rodents and rats. They'll even eat. They eat everything. Cats out in the wild, they'll eat everything. They'll eat birds. They'll eat lizards. They'll even eat cockroaches. Cats. They'll eat whatever they find. They're scavengers. They won't die of starvation. That's for sure. But yeah. So she's always, oh, pobrecito, this and that. So she always had cats around. Oh, and then talking about cats, my cousin. I remember, he used to live with his grandma, which was my grandmother's sister, and then she always she loved those lovebirds, those lovebirds that those little, they call them little parakeets. You get those little lovebirds. So she had a bunch of lovebirds. She in the backyard. She had a big, she built a big enclosure. Like an aerial where they can fly back and forth. It was a pretty big size. Let me see. Let me try to think here how big it was. It was about. I'd say it was at least 5 feet. 5 feet wide by about 10 feet long. He was big, and she had cats, she had dogs, and she had all these parakeets, and the parakeets, she'd go in there. She would go in there. She had 2 doors to get in. The first door, and then once she would close that door, she'd go into the other door. So that way the birds wouldn't, fly out the door. Well, she had cats too, and when, the funny thing is, and she used to have a lot of parakeets in there. There was like, I don't know, she had probably like 30 of them, and she had little houses in there and stuff, and she had so they can lay their eggs, and she had female and male parakeets, they would mate, she put food in there. She even had little mirrors, because parakeets they like looking at themselves in mirrors, so they're all looking at themselves, and so she's like goes in there, one day she goes in there to feed them, but then she didn't pay attention, and one of the cats got in, behind her, and she didn't notice it, so then she went into the second door, and then she put in her food and water for the parakeets, and the cat got in, cats are sneaky, so he got in, and then because they used to always, there was a big tree. She had this big tree outside. I remember outside the big enclosure was a giant tree. I mean, I remember even climbing it when I was a teenager. We used to go visit. I used to climb up on it. I mean, it was so big, and climb up on it. And it was a fruit tree, and it was called oh man, it wasn't it was those berries, what do you call it, blueberries. No, it wasn't blueberry. Was it blueberries? The ones that look like almost like little raisins, like little raisins, and they're nice big size. They got like little lumps on them. They're kind of blue purple color. They're real good. I mean, oh man, I used to hit them, back in the day, fresh fruit. I mean, as long as if it's in your yard, you don't spray. My aunt never sprayed any poisons or anything like that, so you don't really even have to wash the plant, the fruit off the tree, because it's has no contaminants. It just has the air and stuff. So we used to just get up there in the tree and start eating the fruits. So then we the cat got in. So the cat got in, and then she walked out. And she went go feed the other cats and the dogs, and she goes to the kitchen. Go do her thing. And then she's all of a sudden the cat's inside the damn bird thing. He's got about 30 little parakeets in there. Man, this cat, he had a field day that day. Cat went in there, man, it started munching on all these poor little parakeets. They didn't have a chance, man. I mean, they were flying all over the place, and then my aunt, she used to have I guess she said she was washing the dishes. She was washing the dishes, and she always had the window open, because this was it wasn't summertime, so it was nice outside, so she'd open up the window, she could hear the parakeets, and then all of a sudden, she started hearing a lot of ruckus, the parakeets were making all kinds of noise, like real loud, and so she's like, what the heck is going on, so she goes outside, and then she starts walking over there, to the yard, to cage where all the parakeets are at. And she goes in, and then she's all like, "What the heck?" And then she goes into the second door, and then she starts seeing, dead parakeets all on the floor. Some were decapitated. Their heads off. I mean, the cat wasn't eating the whole bird. He was just munching and biting heads off. And he probably, I think he probably finished about at least 15 of the birds. And hurt a bunch of other ones. And so like, oh my God, and called my cousin. My cousin went over there and they got the cat out. She was like, God dang cat, screaming, yelling, you dang cat, But another person probably would have grabbed the cat and probably killed the cat, But she loves everything. She loves all the animals, So she's like, So she like got the kid out, the big cat out of there. His tummy was full. He wasn't gonna be hungry for a while. And then she tells my cousin, oh man, clean up the mess, get rid of all the dead birds, And so then my aunt, his grandma he goes, well, he sends him to the pet store because she goes, go buy me some more birds, because they weren't that expensive back then. I mean, they were just a couple of dollars, I forget how much they are now. I mean, they're probably not that expensive, little parakeets. I forget. I did a video, and I think I don't remember if I did put it up there. I might have, and maybe it got deleted by accident. I don't know. I don't remember, but so then my cousin went and got 10 more, because usually I think if you bought like 10 they would give you a better deal, so she bought 10 to replace the 15 that got killed by the damn cat. And so then and it was funny because then one day, I remember he said one day, because my dad, he used to fix, he was kind of like a handyman, he could build stuff, he was very, I think that's where my brother gets because my grandfather was the same way. My grandfather, he was like a carpenter, and he could build tables and chairs, and he could build stuff. And my dad, he was the same way, he can remodel, kitchens and put in cabinets and flooring and stuff like that, so he knew how to do stuff like that. So and he knew how to do electrical work also. So he installed his own air conditioning in the house. Cut a hole in the wall and installed those wall units. And so then one day he was on the, because my aunt, which is my cousin's grandma, she called him and said, hey, you know what, at my roof, there's a leak. It's coming in. There's a leak coming in through the kitchen. Get a big water stain on the ceiling. So my dad, he goes up there. My cousin tells me the story because I wasn't there, but he was there. And my dad, he was up on the roof. He could hear footsteps. My cousin, it was early in the morning. He's eating breakfast, eating his cereal. So he's like eating his cereal. Sitting down at the table, and then all of a sudden, he hears a noise like a cracking noise from the ceiling, and he looks up. And as he looks up, boom! He sees like a foot and a leg come through the floor, through the ceiling, on the roof. My dad, I guess there was a bad piece of wood in the kitchen there area. So my dad's foot went right through the floor, right into the kitchen. So then he had to lift himself out again. My cousin kind of like helped push his foot up. But it was funny. He's all like, yeah, here he is eating his cereal. And then his foot comes, my dad's leg comes through the ceiling, So it's all like, I guess I found the leak. But now he had She had a skylight now. Now she can even see the sun coming through. So yeah, he had to go get a whole sheet of wood, to put on the roof, and replace the well, back then it wasn't her roof wasn't shingles. It was a whole big rolls. They had big rolls like they're like I think they were like 3 feet wide rolls, or 4 foot wide rolls. And you had to roll them out instead of shingles. So you got to cut them out, roll out a big piece, and then you nail them down, put some of that tar, so the nail holes won't leak and stuff. So yeah, so he fixed their roof and stuff, and and it was funny because he used to do that kind of stuff, and then even sometimes I used to go on some of the jobs, go work, go help him do some work on some people's houses. I remember one time we went to this lady's house, and she wanted one of those big giant windows, like a bay window, because she wanted to put so she could put her big Christmas tree. So he cut out the normal little size window. And it was probably maybe 24 by 36, and he put in a big, 48-inch window by 48-inch, 48 by 48 window, so they can, they can see the Christmas tree from outside. So, and before then, I was about 12 years old at that time, and I had my middle finger, from so my this middle finger, if you really look at it, see how it's bent. I can't even straighten it. This middle finger, the one day I got it smashed when I was 12 years old. It was the same time when I went to help my dad. He got smashed by the car door, so it was all swollen and this and that. So my finger swelled up, the middle finger, and so my mom, it was pulsating. It was it was hurting, So my mom, she took me to the doctor, and then the doctor looks at it and he goes, well, there's really nothing we can do. I mean, we can get a needle. They poke your, what they do, they poke your the top of your needle. I mean, the top of your fingernail. They get a big needle and they stab it right through, and boom, so get all the liquid, whatever's under there, all the pressure that's building up, because your fingernail's gonna come off anyways. So she's all like, I'm like, oh man, I started thinking about that. I told my mom, I don't want to get that shit done. A big old hole in your finger, And this was back in the 70s. So then, nowadays you could even see videos on YouTube about it, where a person has that same thing, and they have a needle, and they heat it up. They heat it up, with fire, like with a lighter, to make sure has no, as they say, sterilize it, with fire, and then they pop, and they just, push down onto the fingernail, and boom, and all the pus and whatever is in there, comes out. Well, so the doctor said, well, the only other thing you could do is just soak, stick your hand in warm water, that not too hot that it's burn his hand, but then you can have 3-degree burns. And he goes, put some salt salt water, and just make sure they just soak it in there, so that was pretty much the remedy that they gave my mom, and they charged, you know, didn't give me no medications or anything, just that's it, soak it in warm water. So I was doing that, and I mean it was relieving the pain a little bit, but it was still like it was like boom, it was still swollen. So in fact, I didn't go to school because my finger was all like, so she goes, oh well, since you're not going to go to school, go help your dad. So he had to go to this lady's house and do that window that I was talking about. Oh, and then also she said she wanted a big arch because she had a square, from the living room to the dining room, but she wanted it to look real nice. So she goes, I want you to build an arch, and he goes, yeah. He goes, I can do that. Basically you get wood and you bend it, real thin pieces of wood, you know. Yeah, so then there I am helping him, and he's making the after he took out the old window, and then broke all the sheetrock, stuff like that, and then he measured, and then he had to make a frame. He got to make a frame for the window that he was going to install. The 48 by 48 window. And so then he's standing up. And he's and I'm like down here on the floor. With a box of nails. So I'm handing him nails. And I have this hand, on the floor, it's because it's like she had it was like cement, so it was all flat, not dirt, just flat cement. So here I am, I got my hand on the floor, and my dad's right next to me, and then I like reach over this way, to grab something. And while I'm doing that, my dad, he steps back, and guess what? He boom, he steps right on my hand, right where the finger was all swollen, and it's like, oh, I'm like, oh, dad, you're on my hand. He's like, oh shit. So he did put a good enough weight on it that it pretty much, it boom, busted the back of the fingernail, where the fingernail grows, comes out, and yeah, I mean it was like he squished the heck out of it, but you know what? Hey, he pretty much did the job. I mean it squeezed everything out. I mean all the pus, everything came out. I mean, it was like, boom, not in hardly any blood, it was just a bunch of pus, and it just came out, and then squeezed out. And, oh man, my finger felt 100% better. No more pressure. It was like, because it was like, it used to pulsate, it's like your heartbeat, like boom, 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 I mean, that's the way it used to feel, and it was so, I was like, oh man, that little stepping on my finger, hey, it relieved the pressure, so then I didn't have to feel the pain anymore, so in a way it was good, that happened, so it was a big relief, as they say. Let's see who's in here. Let's see who was in here. Stole my thunder. Mark the Spider Guy. Hey, how's it going? Let's see who else was in here. NS Creations. Mark. Let's see. Journey with Kiki. How's it going, Kiki? Thank you. Thank you for coming in. Zelda, welcome, Maggie. How's it going? Reagan, Big Babagin, Olto, Bud, Anthony, Ross. Yes, thanks everybody for coming in. Yeah, so it was crazy, and this reminds me of one last little short story about my cousin and my aunt with all those cats and dogs. Her cats, they were never neutered, so she always had babies, and then she had these little baby cats. They were inside the house, and then but they were like wild. I mean, you couldn't get close to these little cats. I mean, they were like little kittens, but they were like, man, they would jump at you, and it was funny because the the cat my cousin goes, hey, you know what, come over, because my aunt, my grandma wants me to catch these cats, we had to get rid of them, so then I guess the animal control told her, so they gave her a box, where you can put the kittens inside, but we had to catch them. So there was like around, she had already caught like a couple of them and turned them in, but then there was like these four of them. They were like, dang, they were like wild. I mean, they would like attack you, and they're small. They were like only like this big. So then me and my cousin, we were like, okay, let's go get them. And then they got behind this big like thing in the kitchen that was, like a big cabinet where she had a bunch of dishes in there. So we had to pull the cabinet forward. And this cat, was behind, but then these cats, I mean, one of the cats, I mean, he was trying to get it, and it jumped from the floor, like at my cousin, and he went like, and it like, got him right here, it's like, and this is a little kitten. So he like grabbed it, from, cats and dogs, how they grab them from the back of the neck, like the dogs, like the lions, and tigers, how they grab their baby cubs. They don't hurt them, but that's where they grab them from. And then they kind of like, go all limp. There's something that makes them, I don't know what it is, but when you grab them from there, they kind of like go all limp. So my cousin grabbed them like that, and he let go from him, and because he scratched them and and everything. So then he put it in the box, and then his grandma's like, you're gonna hurt them. You don't hurt them. Don't hurt them. Yeah, well, my cousin like, yeah, right. Like we're gonna hurt them. They're gonna end up hurting us. So so then there was like two more cats they got to catch. And then here's my cousin. He's trying to catch the one of the last ones, and he's all like, so then he like, he's already gotten tired of getting bit. So then he puts his foot on one of them. He puts his foot on one of them, and then the cat's like he's not wounded. His grandma's like, you're killing him. and then my cousin, he's like, no, he's okay. He picks him up, and then he's all like, look, he's okay. He's moving him around, and goes, look, no, he's alive. Look. He puts him inside the box, and then we finally grabbed the last one, and then we got rid of them. She like, told us to take him to the pound, to the, like, so they can give them to whoever. I mean, like, anybody's gonna want them wild cats. I mean, they were crazy. They're probably gonna kill you if when they grow up, be like the damn bobcats. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that was so funny that it's all like, you're killing them. But yeah, thanks a lot, everybody. Thanks for coming in. God bless you, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. wherever you are at, and God bless everybody. And like Keys says, Key Constrictors, call your mama, tell her you love her because you never know how long she'll be around. And goodbye, guys, everybody. Till next time, have a good one.